teens, happy Thursday. It's Miss Amelia at the Polk County Public Libraries, and today I'm going to show you how to make Animal Crossing Shrinky Dinks. Now, this is a take and make kit that you can pick up at the Columbus or Saluda Library, and it comes with everything that you need to make this fun project. So before we get started, I have a very exciting opportunity for you guys. We have a community needs assessment survey. That sounds kind of boring, but let me tell you what it is. You can go on to the Polk County Public Library's website, polklibrary.org, and fill out a survey that helps us better do our job as libraries, and you get to have your input on how the library looks in the future. So if you go on and you complete this survey, you'll be entered to win a $100 Visa gift card. So I encourage you to do that, and then you can also tell your parents or your grandparents or your friends to also go online and fill out the survey as well, because we want everybody's input. All right, let's get started with today's take and make kit. So we are going to make Animal Crossing Shrinky Dinks, and inside your kit you have several things. You have a little paper that tells you what I'm about to tell you about polymers and about Shrinky Dink plastic, and you have 7 or 8 different animals from the Animal Crossing video game. Now, some of you may have seen this on Nintendo Switch, and I'm not sure what other platforms you can play this on, but I am most familiar with it on a Nintendo Switch. And then there are also some colored pencils for you to get started, and some special Shrinky Dink paper. Now, this paper is different than any other paper because it is made of plastic. There is a shiny side that you can kind of see reflected in the light, and there is a rough side that's called the frosted side. This is the side that you're going to be drawing on when we get to that step, okay? You're going to be drawing on the rough side. So if you're watching this video at home and you have your kit materials, I would go ahead and lay the frosted side or the rough side of your material facing up. That way you don't forget to do it later. Okay, so like I said, this paper is made of plastic, and when the paper is rolled out in the factory, it starts off looking like a glump, or a lump, not a glump, of Play-Doh. And the plastic looks like this, and when the machine rollers roll it out into the thin paper, it is actually rolling out something called polystyrene. So plastic is made of polymers, okay? And the polymers are long chains of repeating molecules. So if you know what a molecule is, you know that's what makes up everything in our world, okay? And the polystyrene paper is a special plastic called number 6 plastic. You may be familiar with number 6 because if you go to a restaurant, that's oftentimes what your takeout containers are made out of. So if it's made out of that clear, shiny plastic, you can actually reuse your takeout container and make it into a Shrinky Dink. So that's a good way to recycle into a fun craft. All right, so our polymers and our polystyrene paper looks like this when we get it. And the reason why a Shrinky Dink works is when we cut out our design and we put it into the oven heats up the Shrinky Dink paper or the polystyrene paper, and it wants to go back to its original form in that lump of plastic. Fortunately for us, it's not going to go all the way back into a lump that doesn't have a shape like this. It's going to go back into a thicker lump. So it started off as a piece of paper, and it's just going to be a thicker piece of paper, okay? And you'll see what I mean in just a second. So I'm going to put my Play-Doh up, and we're going to get started with our Shrinky Dinks. All right, so our Shrinky Dink paper, you should have it the rough side facing up, okay, from our step earlier. And you want to choose a Animal Crossing character. Now, you can get really creative, and if you have your own Animal Crossing character from the game and you want to freehand draw that character, go for it. But I'm not very artistic with these animals, so I went ahead and I pre-printed mine, and I actually traced my little alligator or crocodile character onto the paper. And the way that I did that is I put my design underneath, and I put my paper, my Shrinky Dink polystyrene paper on top, And to keep the image underneath from moving, I went ahead and I taped the corner of, oops, you have to be careful, the corner of my Shrinky Dink paper and the corner of my design together. That way, when I started coloring, my image did not shift. Okay, so I've got that taped down, and you can use the colored pencils that are in your bag. Okay, this works great. Or you can use Sharpie markers, and Sharpie markers work really well for this activity too. That's what I used on mine, but I'm gonna go back in with my colored pencil and do some shading real quick around the eyes of my little alligator and inside his little spots. Okay, so I've got that done, and I'm happy with how he looks. Now, as you can see, I did not use my entire half piece of plastic paper. And Shrinky Dink paper is a lot of fun to work with. So when you cut out your design in just a second, go ahead and save this extra part because you can do another Shrinky Dink craft with it, okay? So you're gonna cut out your design all the way around. Also, I chose to use the alligator on this one so that you could see the alligator has some white on his chin and his tooth is white. Also, there's some white around his eyeballs. With this type of Shrinky Dink paper, this is called frosted, okay? If you purchase this kind at the store or on Amazon and order the frosted kind, anything that you leave uncolored in your design is going to turn white. Now, if you use the number 6 plastic from a takeout container, or if you buy just the regular clear kind of Shrinky Dink paper, you'll need to, the white parts will end up being clear. Okay, so that's just up to you how you want your design to look. You could color it all in or hardly in at all. Okay, so I'm cutting around my design. Awesome. So I've got this nice piece of paper left over that I can make another design on if I want. And here's what my Animal Crossing character looks like right now. So if you are really into math and you measure your design ahead of time, before putting it into the oven, your Shrinky Dink design will be regular size. After you bring it out of the oven, it will shrink down to 1/3 of its original size. So instead of being a big alligator, it's going to be a little alligator. You'll see that in just a second. Also, if you're at home and doing this, you can use a hole punch and punch a hole in the side of your character. Okay, I'm gonna punch a hole in mine. If you do that, your hole will shrink down, okay, along with your design, and it will slide onto a keychain afterwards. So if you want to put this on your backpack or on your jacket as a zipper pull, you can do that too. If not, you can just leave it without a hole. That's okay. Okay. All right, so my oven here, you can do this in a small oven like this one. This one is a toaster oven, or you can use a regular size oven at home. And I have heated my oven to 350 degrees. So it is very, very, very hot. And once I stick my little character inside, it will start to melt and it will crumple together and it will look like it's not going to lay flat again. But that's part of the Shrinky Dink magic. When it crumples up, it will end up laying flat. Okay, so I'm going to put it right inside there. And you can't see it, but I'm excited for you to watch your Shrinky Dink at home shrink down, because all of that hard work you put into decorating your design, it crumples up and you start to worry if it's gonna uncrumple or not, and it does. So, spoiler alert, it will work. My little alligator is shrinking down. Now, if for some reason you take it out of the oven and you feel like it's not shrunk all the way, don't worry, because when you put Shrinky Dink paper in, it will only shrink so small. So if you put it back in later, it won't shrink down any smaller. Those polymers only compact so much. Okay, I think here they are. Here's my little guy. Okay, I'm going to take him off of my tin foil very carefully. And I recommend using a pot holder or tongs to get that out of the oven with, because it's very hot. 350 degrees is not something that you want to touch with your fingers. All right, and here is my alligator. So he started off this big, and now he is 1/3 of the size.